Chapter 11. This could be painful, Okla. The doctor looked at the scientist with concern. And I can't promise that I'm going to be able to find the right frequency straight away. Are you ready? The Silurian nodded, clamping his hands over his ears. Taking a deep breath, the doctor pointed his sonic screwdriver at the signalling device on Partok's belt and pressed the button. The noise that filled the undersea base was deafening. The Silurians reeled in pain, clutching at their heads. Partok turned, hatred in her eyes. "You again! This time I will kill you!" She reached for her heat gun and scrabbled to turn off the screaming device at her belt. "No, no, no!" The doctor frantically adjusted controls on the screwdriver. Come on, that frequency has got to be there somewhere." The noise from the signalling device went up in pitch, almost too high for the doctor to hear. The effect on Partok and the rest of the Silurians was instant. They collapsed on the spot. On the surface of the ice, Lizzie closed her eyes, waiting for the blast of heat that would end her life. It never came. She opened one eye nervously. The sea devil was lying flat on its back in the snow. So were all the others. All around her, she could see the naval force slowly advancing on their flawed attackers. Lizzie nudged the sea devil with her foot. It moved weakly. It wasn't dead then, just stunned somehow. She grinned. No prizes for guessing who was responsible. Aware that she probably only had a matter of moments before the Navy moved in to secure their prisoners, she knelt by the prone sea devil. She lifted the gun between its webbed fingers, grimacing at the slimy feel of its skin. Attached to the creature's belt was a small black device. A communicator. "Well, if the doctor is behind all this..." Lizzie unclipped it and pressed the transmit button. "Doctor, are you there? Doctor?" The doctor was helping a dazed and a dizzy Okla to his feet when Lizzie's voice rang out through the control room. He snatched up Partok's communicator in delight. "Lizzie Davies, you beauty! Where are you?" "Out on the ice sheet with lots of unconscious sea lizard thingies. Is that your doing?" "They're called sea devils," explained the doctor. "Well, they're not actually called sea devils. That's a less than flattering nickname coined back in the 1970s, but let's call them that for the moment." "Are they all out cold? They should all be out cold." "Cold? And getting colder by the minute." "And Pelham? Getting ready to leave with his precious barrels." "Listen, Lizzie," said the doctor urgently. "This is very important. He mustn't leave. I'll explain everything later, but for the moment, all you need to know is that the fire ice has been sabotaged. If Pelham tries to use that fuel, it'll be the end of everything. This is what I want you to do." Lizzie listened as the doctor outlined his plan. As he explained what it was that he wanted her to do, all she wanted to do was run away in terror. But this was her chance to prove to the doctor just what she was really made of. Tucking the Sea Devil communicator into her jacket, she hurried back in through the jagged hole in the refinery wall. The door to the storeroom was still locked. With a shrug, Lizzie raised the Sea Devil gun and fired it at the lock. The door exploded into flaming fragments. Nodding with satisfaction, Lizzie stepped through into the corridor beyond. The base was in uproar. Between the Merca attack and the damage caused by the Sea Devil guns, the place was practically falling apart. Technicians and guards rushed past Lizzie, desperate to get to the waiting tractors. Lizzie turned the other way. She had to find Pelham. He had something she needed. She tucked the gun into her parka and pulled up the hood to disguise her features. Then she set off towards his office. Far below in the Silurian base, the doctor made his way from the control room towards the hibernation chamber. He casually tossed the signalling device from hand to hand. He was worried. He had hoped that he would be able to find a better solution than the one he was about to use. Sadly, time was against him. The arrival of the Navy troops was hardly unexpected. But it had not helped things. Now it was a race against time. Humans, muttered the doctor to himself. I really don't know why I like them so much. Passing through the hibernation control center, the doctor made his way to a wide expanse of rock wall. He raised his sonic screwdriver, sending green light dancing across the rock. With a grinding of stone on stone, the entrance to the secret military part of the base slid open. The doctor hurried down a wide passage carved from the rock. The passage led down a narrow walkway overlooking a vast underground chamber. He pressed a control on the metal rail, and the chamber was flooded with light. He stood for a moment, marvelling at the ambition of the Silurian race. To work so hard to ensure that they survived, only to find that others had taken advantage of their absence. To find a race in charge that had been nothing but primitive apes when they had started their long sleep. The previous attempts at getting the two species to work together had ended in disaster. It seemed as though this time wasn't going to be any different. The doctor stood, staring down at the cavern below him. He was aware that what he was about to do was unlikely to help relations between the two species. Then he pressed the button on the signalling device. The chamber was suddenly filled with shattering roars as the machinery shut down. Far below him, huge creatures stirred in the slowly swirling vapour. Huge creatures that the Earth had not seen for millions of years. An army of Murkers was waking.